joined by a first-round pick of the Nashville Predators. He is Saskatoon Blades defenseman Tanner Molendyk. Hey, Tanner, first of all, congratulations. Tell me about draft night. Pretty exciting night, I'm sure, for yourself, for your family, for those close to you. Take me back to the end of June in Nashville and the whole experience of hearing your name called.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty special. I mean, had a lot of family there to kind of support me. I mean, I had 25 people there, and I think I don't know. I thought that was the biggest thing. After my name got picked, I kind of just looked up and seen everyone, and they're all crying and hugging. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Was it maybe a little bit extra special too, because it's something that, only probably happens to one, maybe sometimes two players a year, and that's being selected by the hometown team, right? The team hosting the draft in the first round. I mean, what was that like to kind of hear the fans in Nashville kind of go crazy for you right off the hop?
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. I mean, you seen Wood get picked, and you seen the crowd just go mental. And I think when that pick came up, Colin actually tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, "I think this is the place." And I think, yeah, I just heard it getting really loud. And then I don't actually remember walking down the stairs or even know it was knowing what was going on. But I think, yeah, it was definitely special.
Do you remember Roman Yossi and Pecorine kind of calling your name there?
Yeah, I remember that part. Yeah.
So, I mean, take me through it. You're a Nashville Predators prospect now. You're one of three WHL players that got picked by the Predators in this year's draft. But it's a bit of a whirlwind for you, right? You're going through that whole draft experience, and then right away it's a development camp and your first taste of the organization. So, what was that next few days like for you, and kind of getting acclimatized down there?
Yeah, I know it was obviously a special place. I mean, it's pretty electric that whole week. I mean, just walking down Broadway and stuff. And I think, yeah, after I got selected, I mean, getting to meet all the staff and all the people that kind of help out throughout the organization was special. I mean, that organization is first class. That's a special organization. So I think it's pretty cool to be selected there.
You mentioned Colin. I'm assuming Colin Priestner, your GM, kind of mentioning that Nashville might have been, the team that was going to take you at number 24. Were they a team that had kind of you'd identified as maybe a team that was a little bit more interested in you than most?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we talked quite a bit. I think we had a really good talk at the combine. I mean, it was really felt like a really heart to heart conversation. I think, yeah, I don't know. They seemed like really great. They treated me really well in those meetings, and I think, yeah, it was one of the top teams.
You were also the first WHL defenseman taken in the draft. When you look back on that and you look at who went where over the course of those 2 days, is that something that you can kind of maybe take as a bit of a feather in your cap too, or is it, maybe something that you don't think too much about?
Yeah, I think obviously it's always an honor, but I don't want to think about it too much. Kind of you kind of want to go out and be a guy in the NHL that kind of sticks. Now it's not really where you get picked, so I think it's not too set in stone of where I went, where they went, so it doesn't really matter that too much.
A lot of people, when they talk about Tanner Molendyk, they talk about your skating and just your agility on the ice. What I'd like to maybe, if you could, just to kind of share, how important skating has been for you, kind of growing up, playing minor hockey, kind of going through the sports school system, and now into the WHL, and just how much attention you pay to your skating, and just how important a facet it is, for your overall game.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's probably one of my biggest things. I think a lot of the guys in the NHL right now are unreal skaters, and I think that's one of the biggest things in the game. And I think every day I'm trying to get it better. There's lots of things I still need to work on and kind of focus on. So I think putting in an extra 20 minutes every day is key.
Are there any NHL guys you look to as kind of players that you like to model your game after?
I like to watch the guys like Shea Theodore, and then obviously like your Heiskanens and all those kind of guys. But yeah, probably Theodore. That's a big one.
The WHL alumnus as well. Hey, let's talk about Saskatoon, Tanner. You guys, I mean, hey, let's talk about that playoff run. It was a memorable one for you guys in Saskatoon. Of course, the comebacks against Regina and Red Deer. Uh, just what was that environment like and that run like to be part of that group of guys and to defy odds really when you look at it in terms of where you were at in a couple of those series?
Yeah, I think that was one of the best groups of people I've had to play with ever. That team was crazy. That was a lot of fun. I mean, to come back from 3-0 and 2-0 to be honest with you, I think was pretty special. I mean, not a lot of guys can do that. And I think kind of just showed everyone's buy-in. And I think yeah, I mean, it was a crazy year. We had the coaching staff. I've never had a coaching staff like that. I mean, we were all excited as could be, and I think, yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Chatting with your Blades teammates, does that run and that experience kind of make you guys hungrier for what lies ahead this season?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a big one. I mean, I think even before the year last year, we got killed in five. So I think, yeah, we're gonna try and come back this year and try and go farther than we went this year.
My last one for you, Tanner, when you're kind of preparing for next season, you look at the fact that you've got an NHL camp to go to, a full season of hockey ahead. What are some of the things maybe that you're doing differently, or are you doing things differently with respect to your off season training and trying to get bigger, faster, stronger for the year ahead?
Yeah, I think it's just getting back in the grind. I think the work starts now, kind of thing. I mean, it's pretty much the whole thing just restarted, kind of thing. You kind of get picked again, and now you got to go work even harder. I mean, the guys are bigger, stronger, faster. So I think it's just kind of going in there with an open mindset and listening to people and see what they have to say, kind of thing.